I think the big opportunity here, I mean, it feels to me like it's almost a once-in-a-generation type of experience, and maybe 2012 is that year. People who use social media, they tend to skew towards the younger end of the market, but you can't ignore the fact that, older people use it as well. I mean, you can tell by my gray hair, I'm one of those oldies, but I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I use Skype all the time. And I think more and more people are starting to connect to, initially, the younger generations who live and breathe by this stuff day in and day out. I have 3 teenage sons who just, if you took away their Facebook, I don't know what they do. But at the same time, that's one of my ways in which I can understand more about them and their behaviors. And I think companies and brands are really starting to grasp that and say, look, we've got to look at this landscape, we've got to look at this space. Some of the traditional ways in which to promote a brand, print ads, for example, radio spots, they're still going to be important, but are they going to really capture the heart and minds of the younger generation who fundamentally work and think and operate in a very different way? And I think that's the opportunity, and I think as more and more brands embrace that and figure out the right ways in which they do it and the right ways in which they can measure the results, then I think we're on to something. And maybe 2012 is that year where it really starts to click. I think we're going to have a few more good successes this year. There'll probably be some failures along the way. We're on a steady trajectory, so we can't ignore the fact that we're on a journey. Look, if you're in the B2B space and you ignore social media, you ignore it at your peril. I think that is probably going to be one of the big untapped markets for social media in the future. I think you only have to look at the success of companies like LinkedIn. They've done a tremendous job capturing the business audience. I mean, I think about it as a glorified B2B social media vehicle, and it's worked brilliantly. And so that in itself, and I'm sure there are many other examples out there where if businesses embrace social media and are the first ones to do it, they might have some early advantages in terms of how their business succeeds. So I would say they should take a long, hard look at social media. There's so many more upsides to social media than to downside. I would say that, but there's nothing wrong with total transparency. There's nothing wrong with your customers and consumers co-creating with you. There's nothing wrong with customers knowing you better than you do, because I think that challenges you as a business and as a brand to be top of your game. So I think there are many, many upsides. I think in terms of how you get into it, I would say to people, try and experiment with lots of things. Be prepared. You're going to get some things wrong, and you may be on the blogs and people might laugh and joke about what you've done here or what you've done there. But by and large, unless you don't get in there, learn it, experiment with it, you're not going to succeed with it. It works in a different way. Consumer behaviors are different around this. And how that relates to an individual brand, only that brand will know and understand over time how social media can play a key role in making sure that that brand is successful. So yeah, you're going to get it wrong, but get up again and start over again. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think in the social media space and in the internet space, memories are short-lived. So you got something wrong. If you try it again, and you get it right the next time, hey, you're onto something. Go after it. Go bigger, go bolder. That would be my advice.